everybody. Welcome to the Jodie Emery Show. Today is Thursday, December 8th, and as of today, Marc has 943 days left to serve in his U.S. prison sentence. His early release date is July 9th, 2014. You can watch the daily countdown at freemarc.ca, where you can also see my videos and Marc's blogs from prison. Marc's been doing fairly well. He finally got in to see a dentist. You sign up about a year in advance before you actually get any attention. But he did get to go have his teeth looked at, and he's in pretty good shape, and that's a good sign. So we're happy to hear that news. He sent me some presents that just all arrived today, and he wanted me to share them with you. 10 years ago, Marc and I first got in touch when I joined the Cannabis Culture forums online, and that's when I started asking questions about cannabis and prohibition, because I used to be against drugs, and I thought marijuana should be illegal. I got educated through Cannabis Culture, and 10 years ago, that was when it all began. So he sent a card marking that anniversary, and it says 10 flowers, 10 years. And inside it's a little pop-up card. And it says, "You're the best. Love, my wonderful Jodie Emery. I love you. Happy 10th anniversary." It's really awesome. If you've seen the other cards from prison, you can see that there's amazing artists behind bars who produce beautiful things from a very dark place. So thank you for that, Marc. You're always so sweet. He also had some roses, I think 10 roses here for that, and he sent a purse. You've seen some before, and this is another one to add to my collection of prison-made purses. Marc picked out the colors, and it was made in the leather working shop. Now, the inmates pay for all this through their commissary funds, so if you donated to Marc, you probably helped pitch in towards this gift. Marc was so excited to help out with it, and it says Jodie across the front. Very cute. Thanks so much, sweetie. It's really, again, neat to see stuff come out of prisons that always seem to be such depressing places, but they still manage to find some good and positivity and beautiful stuff in there. So that's nice to get, and I'm grateful to the people of Lethbridge who had their fundraiser event. You've heard about it in my previous shows, and this year went very well. They raised almost $1,000 to put towards Marc's commissary, and it's really helped out a lot. It costs quite a couple $100 to get all the food and the clothing and the hygiene items and the phone calls and the mail. You know, it costs to be in prison, the taxpayers and the prisoners. So he has been getting help from people, and thank you to Lethbridge so much for coming by and giving your support. Marc has a blog up at cannabisculture.com and freemarc.ca. It's a message to Canadians from inside the U.S. prison system, and it's about Bill C-10 and the mandatory minimums that are coming into place. You can read it, and I really encourage you to do so. He talks about 9 different inmates that he's serving time with, and the insanely long, horrible sentences these men have for their drug offenses. It's a look into the prison system, maybe that you haven't seen before, so I encourage you to check it out at cannabisculture.com and freemarc.ca. And speaking of Bill C-10, unfortunately, it just passed Parliament. The Conservatives hold a majority in Parliament and in the Senate, so we expect that it will go through the Senate without much hesitation at all. But Conservatives are still on our side in the Senate. You know, the Senate said in 2002 that marijuana should be legal, and there are Conservative senators who agree with us, and senators who are Liberal appointed, and others too. So go to cannabisculture.com, and on the top of the page, Jeremiah, our great editor, posted an article there where you can find links to contact your senator and tell them to vote no on Bill C-10. This is so important. There are going to be many, many lives ruined. Even though we don't have that much of a chance of stopping it, why would you stop and let it, or why would you just let it happen instead of trying to do something? You know, don't just lay back and let it happen. Fight a little in any way that you can, because it will be some dark years ahead, but we can't stop fighting. We see in the U.S., they haven't stopped fighting, and they're getting progress, so we can do the same. And speaking of U.S. activists, the Normal Women's Alliance in the U.S. has been formed, and they are doing some work together, and we decided up here in Canada we should have the Normal Canada Women's Alliance. There have been a couple meetings out east, and last night we had our first meeting here in Vancouver. We all brought hats to wear to kind of, you know, a nod to the women's prohibition movement, the anti-prohibition movement against alcohol. So we had a great little get-together, brought some goodies, talked about who we are, why we're coming together, and what we hope to do in the future. So if you would like to organize one where you are, just go ahead and do it. Put a post on Facebook, invite people, spread the word, and we'll get some networking happening, and that will really help us out all a lot. A bit of news about the hypocrisy of the drug war. The DEA has admitted that they've been laundering money for drug cartels in Mexico. Millions of dollars they're laundering for the drug cartels. And as we know from the Fast and Furious gun selling scheme, the U.S. government is also providing very deadly weapons to or to Mexico cartels as well. So the hypocrisy runs deep. Marc was indicted for money laundering, but the DEA themselves are actually doing it with millions of dollars. So it never ends, and that's why we're fighting against this. It's just insanity. So do what you can to join the fight. On my last show, we started with the draw, and I have the names of everybody who submitted to win the Medicinal Michelle shirts. So this stocking here is actually made by Karina Gonzalez, who is the girlfriend of Jeremiah Vandermeer. She has a website, philosophypink.com, a great friend, wonderful, talented designer, and I encourage you to definitely check it out. She made this cute stocking last year, and I've kept it, and I'm going to draw 5 names for people who will win the t-shirts. So the first winner is Robin, who did not include a last name. I wrote this down, but I'll go in the email and contact you. And I promise you everybody's name is in here. Second winner will be David L. Third winner, Brian C. And I know a lot of men did enter to get shirts for their mothers or their girlfriends. Many of you who are struggling with an illness that medical marijuana helps with, so it'll be good to get these out to people. William M.F. and Megan S.L. So that is 5, but I also wanted to give away a little bonus this time for the first giveaway, these red sparkly pot leaf earrings. So the special winner of that bonus will be Peter A. So you'll be able to give those away to a woman you love, or maybe wear them yourself. I don't know if you're into that, but definitely a good little prize to have. And speaking of fun stuff, here at Cannabis Culture headquarters for Christmas, we've put together these little gift boxes. So you can come on down to 307 West Hastings and check out the stuff we have in store for Christmas. We have 2 different boxes. One of them has a grinder, one of them doesn't. They come with a pipe, a doob tube, free Marc button, and a lot more. So go to cannabisculture.com/store, check it out on there. And finally, for this week's giveaway, which means you have to email me at jodie@cannabisculture.com to enter, I'm going to give away 3 cozy free Marc hooded sweatshirts. So there'll be black ones, and you just send me an email with your size, and you will also get a free Marc button, a free Marc wristband, a free Marc lighter leash so that you always have your lighter with you, and 4 free Marc stickers to put around town or keep them for yourselves. But 3 winners next week will get this free Marc Emery prize pack. Send an email to jodie@cannabisculture.com and I'll enter you in. Thanks a lot for tuning in. As always, check out cannabisculture.com and freemarc.ca, our YouTube accounts, Pot TV, Facebook, Twitter. We'll put all the links down below, and share the show around. Let me know what you think, and keep on fighting the good fight. Thanks a lot. Free Marc Emery.
Marc has inspired so many of us pot smokers, and I know that tonight will help inspire him to get through the tough times he faces in prison. Marc? Yeah! Marc brought Canadians together to embrace marijuana for what it is, the greatest plant on earth. And now, even when the government has silenced Marc by burying him in a hole where he barely sees the light of day, they cannot silence us. And in this way, they cannot stop Marc's message. This proves to me that when a message of truth is preached, nothing any government does anywhere will ever be able to silence it, as long as we keep remembering. And when Marc gets out, which isn't far down the road, I have hope that he will continue his journey to legalize marijuana in Canada, and because of Canadians like us, he'll know that it's worth it.
But please also, the other things you can do are to write to our Justice Minister, demand that Marc be brought home. You can write to Harper, demand that they bring him home. You can write to Obama and demand they pardon him. Demand it. It's ridiculous. And that's all I have to say.
Some of you might know me as, well, you probably don't know me to look at me, but Mama Kind from Skunk Magazine. I'm currently the editor-at-large there. No fat jokes. And I've been there for a long time, but what I did before that and what led to me working and having like a decade-long career in the cannabis industry, in particular in publishing, all began with Marc. And one of the things I love about Marc, not just that he sold a gazillion seeds and put millions of dollars into the anti-prohibition movement, really globally, in the US and in Canada, and all over. But he spread and continues to spread information, which is probably the most valuable thing that you can do, is spread good information and educate the public. What he wants to hear from you is, what are you doing to make why he's in jail worthwhile? What are you doing to continue on what he's started, And so that's what he wants to hear. So the best thing, if all you can think of is just what you did today, that's awesome too, and that'll brighten his day. But if you can send him, just do one thing, write to your MP. I know sometimes it's Alberta and you're like, oh my God, it's so conservative. But just do it anyways, send a letter to the paper, whatever you can do. And tell Marc about it. And he'll be ecstatic, I promise you, he'll be ecstatic. And so check out cannabisculture.com if you want to hear more about what Marc's blogs from jail, and from Jodie Emery, who was here last year, and apologizes for not being here because she's down seeing Marc, actually. So, hi Jodie.